Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, and today I'm joined by British middleweight Brad Pauls. Brad, how you getting on, mate?
All good, mate. Thanks for having me. Really
No
appreciate it.
worries. I want to go right back to the beginning and tell me how you got into boxing and how you got that boxing bug.
Good question. Pretty typical story, to be honest. Bit troubled at school, fighting all the time, getting in trouble with attention. And then I stumbled across boxing when I was 10 years old. I think my granddad showed me on TV at the time, and he was like, this is a sport. And I just was obsessed with it. Just couldn't believe I could do it and not get in trouble. Like I just it took me years to get my head around it. That I was like, how can I do this and not get attention? And then yeah, and then was just I haven't missed a season since, and that was in 2003.
Cool.
Fucking hell.
don't say it,
How
mate.
old was you born?
Yeah, I was 3 years
Oh,
old. Yeah. But
yeah.
at what age? At what point did that obsession become like profession? Because you've gone from loving the sport, being addicted to it, to this is my job now. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, I made things happen that way. Like I went to university when I was 18 in Southampton, Solent, because the boxing in Cornwall wasn't getting me anywhere, and I knew in a city it would. So I got into university. It was the only reason was for boxing, and then from there, then I really progressed. I was sort of stuck in Cornwall, and I got to university. I had 12 straight wins. I got a national title, half of them by knockout. I got elite senior ABA semi-finals, county. But I had to move out of Cornwall to get that potential. Do you know what I mean? So from there, I was even more hooked than I was before. I realised I could do something with it.
Mm. But talk to me a little bit about that debut, though, because you made your debut at York Hall. You had an army of fans from all around the country coming to see you, and best of all, the icing on the cake, you got the knockout. Talk to me
Yeah,
about that night. Where does it rank in all of your nights?
yeah, it's up there. It's one you never forget, and it's everything's a new sort of feel. Like with the whole smaller gloves, having to sell tickets. You never really in the amateurs you just box and you don't have to sell it's sweet. But yeah, it was a good one. I had over 100 and something there for my debut. And yeah, short and sweet, nice body shot, got him down, and yeah, it's
Mm.
good times.
How did it feel in the dressing room afterwards, though? Because you've gone from this obsessed kid to, oh my God, I'm at York Hall, to, I've just knocked him out. What's
Yeah,
next? How did it feel in the dressing room afterwards?
yeah, it's good. And that feeling to this day is one of the reasons why I box. The feeling of getting a win is the best feeling in the world. Fully addicted to it. So yeah, and it felt like a new start. Do you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah, yeah.
all that time ago, but it felt like I was starting something like good. Do you know what I mean? That's what I remember.
Mm. Well, mate, what a journey you've been on. 18 and 1. And the way you've done it, I love it. You've won the Southern Area title, then you won the English, and now, fingers crossed, you're about to get your hands on the British. Talk to me a little bit about how that journey's been.
Um, yeah, it's a funny one. I think I'm part of this generation of boxers where having COVID in the middle of your career was really strange because right before COVID hit with me, I'd won the Southern Area, I'd defended it, and I was set up to fight for the English, and I was
Mm,
flying. I was on a roll, really active, and then COVID, and I was what was I 27 or something like that, and then COVID came, and I didn't box for 2 years, and it sort of threw me off a little bit, which
mm,
wasn't ideal. Like it's just one of those things, but who knows what would have happened if COVID didn't happen, but yeah, it's been some journey, but I've just never gave up. Just kept going. Like no matter what situation happened, I'm just a really stubborn guy who just
mm.
won't pack it in. And I've took my lessons along the way. Like I've learned a lot in the process, and I took a loss and adapted and changed things, and then come back better and bigger. Um, but yeah, I think everything for a reason. But my dream belt's the British, and it's led me to this moment where I can get my dream belt. So
Mm.
here we are.
How do you get back on the horse after a loss? Like you say, you're chasing this dream of being a British
Yeah,
champion, and then someone knocks you back a peg. How
yeah.
do you know, get back on it?
I think you can't dwell on it too long. You can't sit there and like dwell on the loss. I think that's why I went and got a win quite fast after. But I didn't dwell on it, but I really looked at it and I tried to understand why it happened,
Mm,
and how to make sure it doesn't happen again. Like if you lose but you learn so much, it doesn't feel like a loss. But from that situation, I changed a lot in my camp. I got a nutritionist. I really invested in my mindset coach. I did everything I could to improve where I could, and then it paid off faster than I thought it was going to. Because in the same year, I got the same title I lost for. So, always learning, man. It's never straight to the top, and like you can't get used to fighting in these big stadiums and on TV and stuff. Come from a small hall, you have to do it to get used to it. You can't just be used to it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I learned. Like it's all experience.
Well, let's talk about this massive fight with Heaney in Birmingham. You're both going to bring an army of fans there. How excited are you, mate?
Massively.
Yeah.
And even the whole card. Like I hope they have a TV in the changing room.
Yes.
I just want to. I was just a fan. Like, I just want to sit and watch the card. But yeah, it's a massive occasion. I believe the whole venue is going to sell out, which is I think it's 7,000 or something like that.
Mental.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I would try to get as many tickets as I could, ringside and stuff, and they've sold out already. So yeah, I'm going to have maybe 150 Cornish people.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Heaney's gonna have more. I might get booed, but it doesn't faze me at all. Honestly, I'll be the villain for the night, no problem.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. We've seen Heaney on telly now on a few of those Queensberry shows, and he is sort of the main man in Frank Warren's stable. How do you feel about that? Like you say, you talk about being the villain. It's going to be a huge night without any of the fans there, but adding them to the mix. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I think it's something I've got to get my head around. But it's quite funny because my last fight at York Hall, my opponent, he'd sold well over 300 tickets. I'd sold about 100. So in York Hall, you feel
a
it.
small venue like that.
And it's the first time ever I got booed in my whole entire life. I've never been booed before, and like I quite liked it.
Yeah.
Like I buzzed off it a little bit. So just funny how it works. And now I'm gonna have 10 times that amount booing me again on March 16th. Can't wait.
Well, you mentioned that card. You got Joe Joyce on there. You got Dennis McCann on there. You got a load of cracking matchups, including yourself and Nathan Heaney. How exciting does it feel just to be a part of something like that? Because people are going to be talking about this all year.
Yeah. It's insane, and I got a real buzz for it when I went to the press conference, where I had Frank sitting to my right and Joe Joyce sitting to my left. I'm not sure if he's on my undercards, but just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being on the same card, it's mad. But at the same time, I'm a fan just like everyone else. I love boxing, and to share a card with all these people that I rate is it's really it's motivating, man.
We spoke already in this interview. We spoke a lot about that dream of being the British champion. It's really within touching distance now. So how would it feel personally? Ignore everyone else, ignore the fans and what people want you to do. How would it feel for you to have that British belt?
Mad, honestly, like, mate, I'm not much of a crier, but I'll definitely cry, mate. I had someone tweet me the other day. I'd be the first British champion in 124 years. From Cornwall.
Yeah.
So there'll be history. It'll be massive for me, and something I've talked about for a long time. And I give the British title a lot of credit because there's no easy fight for it. So it'll be massive for me, man. And when was it the press conference the other day? And I looked across the table, and the belt was just there. And like you said, it's in touch. It's just there, just right there. So it's strange things have happened, mate.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about something that probably you won't want to talk about much, and that's what happens next, mate. Imagine if you win the British title, you've achieved your dreams. You're still only 30 years old. You've still got 6 or 7 years maybe in this sport. What would you want to do next? If all the dreams came true, what next?
Honestly, I have not had a second of thought about this. So this is I mean, winning it outright would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because so I want a belt for the mantelpiece, and if you got to pay to get one made up, it's expensive. So, so if I win it outright, I'd save myself about $9,000. I think. So I think I'll defend it, mate. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Well, away from the fighting as such, I want to talk a little bit about what inspires you, because we've already spoken about the journey and how far you've came and how close you are now.
Mm.
What has been a few of those things in the background of this whole entire process that have give you that kick up the arse, give you that push to get up every morning and
Yeah.
do this crazy sport? What's been the inspiration for you, mate?
It's a tricky one. Like I think about this sometimes, and it's. I don't think it's one particular thing
Mm,
you can put it down to. I think I love it. I genuinely just love boxing, love fighting. I think if you really break it down, like it's lovely to make your family proud, your parents proud,
yeah,
stuff like this, and then you break it down further, and maybe the people of Cornwall, like to I get a lot of messages and stuff like that, young lads that I've stuck to boxing because of you, and I never tell people or share about it, but
mm,
I get a lot of positive messages, and that's um, another bit of motivation for me. But yeah, it's I think I just love it. I've just never done anything else. That
mm.
I just love it. Like I've somehow managed to live my dream job for 20 years. It's crazy.
The last question from me, mate. It's been a pleasure speaking to you so far, but the fight's in March. Where could you see yourself at Christmas? You with your family, you with your friends. What have you done by the end of the year?
If it went exactly how I wanted and everything came true, win the British, and if I could defend it twice by the end of the year, so defend it maybe in the summer and then before Christmas, that would be my absolute dream. I'd have to defend it once more, wouldn't I, to get it to win it
I
outright?
think so, yeah.
Because you win it and then it's free after you win
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, and I'd have the next one set up to defend it one more time. Um, but yeah, that'd be my dream. And honestly, if I won the British title and I died a week later, I'd be happy, genuinely.
Mate,
So let's go.
my fingers are crossed for you, mate.
Be mad, wouldn't it? Imagine that British title in Newquay in Cornwall.
Oh, stop. Yeah, that would
Mental,
be
isn't it?
massive.
No one's seen it. It's never been seen there.
Mm.
It's not ever been there. So I'd love to bring it down there. It'd be good.
Mate, well, fingers crossed that's all in the pipeline. Like I said, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Brad Pauls, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.